Welcome to my series called News from Down Home, where I talk about news from Princess Anne, Somerset County, Maryland, which I consider to be my hometown. I've lived in a lot of places, but I spent my young childhood there. Our family had moved there in 1903 from Western Pennsylvania, and I have a lot of family there, a lot of family there, buried there, a lot of deep roots in Somerset County. Very, very interesting historical things to talk about, things I didn't know when I was a child. They didn't teach you. I learned it as an adult. So the Marylander and Herald newspaper was the paper of record, at least as I understood it, until the 1980s. Now, when the 1960s, up until the time I was 13, I wandered the streams and fields of Somerset County on our 30-acre farm my dad called the Greenbrier, with my three-legged dog, German Shepherd dog, Rin Tin Tin, or Rinny, who'd lost his leg in a farm accident. Now let's talk about in July 1916, some of the local happenings. This is these people's Facebook and Instagram. This is where they report things that interest them, and other where they read about information and news from the world and from the state and local news. So let's talk about in St. Peter's district. In July 8th, Mr. Moody Muir of Baltimore is a visitor in Oriole. Mr. Samuel Laird made a business trip to Baltimore this week. Mr. Paul Smith, after spending several weeks in Baltimore, is now home. Mr. Paul Noble, who is employed at Lawrenceville, Virginia, is home for a few days. Mr. and Mrs. Harry Zeem of Baltimore, a guest of Mr. and Mrs. Paul Smith. Now, here's a couple of names that are familiar to me. I don't know the people in them specifically, but Mr. Wesley Bosman of Baltimore is spending some time with his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Henry Bosman. Bosman's a very old name. I'm reading Torrance's Old Somerset, and there's Bosmans and Bostons are mentioned as early as 1600. 1600s, not 1600 itself. Mr. Harry Phoebus was a guest at the home of Mr. Frank Beecham in Baltimore Sunday and Monday. Miss Nada Bosman, who has been visiting her uncle, Mr. I.T. Parks in Baltimore, returned home Sunday. And so these are some names, familiar names, some people that lived at that time, and I'm sure they're no longer alive, but their descendants are. If you know these people or have heard these names before, maybe have some information you can share, I'd really appreciate it. I'm fascinated by this. Now let's go on to an historic structure in Somerset County, Maryland. Today I'm going to talk about Whitehall, which is located at Princess Anne. It's a 2.5 story L-shaped frame house constructed about 1785 to 1798. Now, Whitehall was located in the Wicomico Hundred, what it was called, and on the south side of the Wicomico Creek. It stands on a tract of land known as Taunton Dean, and it was purchased by Benjamin Cotman from Francis Roberts on June 25th, 1671. Although Benjamin Cotman is thought to have lived on the north side of the Wicomico Creek, the property remained in the family for the next 5 generations. William Cotman received part of Taunton Dean from his father, Benjamin Cotman, in 1733. Um, so now, Captain William Cotman and his wife, Jane DeShiel, very important old name in Somerset County, remained on the farm until 1815 to 1816 when both of them died. Jane Cotman outlived her husband by 7 months and devised to her two daughters, Anna M. Bell and Araminta Matilda Adams, quote, the dwelling plantation of their father situated on the south side of the Wicomico Creek. Now, so the farm passed on to several people when William H. Bell sold it to James and Mary Kent in 1832. So it's had 19 subsequent owners. Um, and according to the records that I read, the present grantees bought 10 acres surrounding the house in 1962. In any event, this is some interesting things. It's a county rich in history. I hope that wherever you are, that you look at the history, the people that walked where you're walking before you, what they believed, what inspired them, what made them fear, or what their griefs were. It's fascinating to look at the history because people are forgotten. The fact is that not long after you die, when the people that knew you have passed on, it will be as if you never existed, because as far as on the earth, you'll just be a name in some record somewhere. So let's keep people's memories alive by just looking at what they did and where they lived. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope that you would get as much out of this as I do because I sure enjoy it. Thank you.